bought it. I depend on
me.
Hey, they bought everything, okay? They bought everything. Welcome back to our Boss Lady series. And of course, we're going to be shining a spotlight on health and wellness for Black women. Angela Yee is a radio host and entrepreneur and wellness advocate. She is teaming up with Coach Gessie to talk about their mission and, of course, all of the awareness around chronic health issues and more. Good morning to you, ladies.
When we say boss ladies, that's exactly what we meant. We
Yes,
have two
indeed.
of the best. Thank you so much for joining us here live. Thank you.
We're excited to be here.
Oh my God. Excited to have you. So tell us more about this partnership, which really aims to shed a light on fibroids awareness, and how you two came together.
It was in D.C. that we came together, actually.
Okay, we birthed this.
2017.
The Congressional Black Caucus, and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke was having an event, and I was speaking at it, and I met Coach Gessie, and we started talking about the work that she's doing for our Black women and all of our chronic health issues.
Yeah, and I was really talking to her about my battle with fibroids. I battled fibroids for 14 years, and infertility caused by them for 10 years. And there were so many complications and chronic illnesses that I had to manage after that. It wasn't until, I woke up from my own issue after I had my miracle baby. Shout out to my miracle baby. She is a Broadway actress. Amazing.
And a producer.
And a producer,
And her age.
And the next
She's
guest on
13.
Hit Day DC.
That's right. Bring her in. We need to talk to her.
She was in The Lion King, starring in The Lion King on
That's
Broadway.
right. She was young Nala. That's right.
Back.
Well, that's why I went through everything to have her, and it wasn't until I had her that I realized I was sharing my story, and it went viral. Essence published it. It went viral, and it was like everywhere because women started. It was like the floodgates opened up, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're sharing my story. I went through this. I am 2 fibroid surgeries in. I'm 3 IVF cycles trying to have my baby." And it wasn't just like, like the comment. It was they're telling their stories, right? And it was like sharing my story gave them permission. And it's then that I realized this is an epidemic. This is like affecting, I learned after that, up to 80–90% of Black women navigate this by the age of 50.
And now I feel like the topic of fibroids hadn't been discussed like that until, more recently, which is a good thing that we're at least talking about it.
Yeah. And I think the biggest issue is that when you look at why it's disproportionately affecting Black women, we have to pare back and look at what differentiates us in our experiences.
Yeah, my godmother has fibroids, and that's where I learned about it. And so I often take her example into consideration and look at the fact that she says, I fluctuated in weight a lot.
Yeah.
It was something that
Hormones.
she had to deal with, this body dysmorphia that comes with it. Do you think that there's any growth from the medical perspective of this after conversations like this have sparked over the last couple of years?
There has been. I actually wrote a book called End Fibroids because when I was going through my journey, I realized you had to become like a research assistant to find out what was going on. There was no one place to find out. Like I felt like we needed a manual. And what the research showed was that vitamin D, it's like fibroids are multifactorial, okay? Which means it's not driven by one thing. It really is, there are certain levers that they show up more in your case versus her case or someone else. But the key issues are vitamin D deficiency with Black women Black people are more at risk for because our melanin blocks the absorption of the sun. And D3 is the #1 hormone that your body actually uses to fight inflammation and tumor. Okay, so when you're deficient, you're now more at risk for inflammatory conditions. And then there's hormonal imbalance, okay, which is triggered by a lot of things, including endocrine disruptors and things like the synthetic braids that I know you guys talked
we just
about last week.
She just pointed at me.
Yeah, we did.
She's
And of course, things like relaxers and other products, right? Those are huge. And those things also cause chronic inflammation, which is another key driver.
We have to control what we can control, essentially.
Exactly.
And Angela Yee, I mean, you have a huge voice in media and entertainment, and you can lend it to a variety of causes, which you do. What was it about this one specifically that hit home for you and said, you know what, I got to get on board?
Well, I had my own health issues prior to that. I had high cholesterol, and I actually had to really change my own habits to take control of that because I didn't want to have to be on medication for the rest of my life as I got older. And so we had conversations. I met some of the women who had done Coach Gessie's program and how it helped them. And then I actually did the detox. So I fasted. I did a water fast for 2 weeks.
Really?
Yes.
All water, 2
water,
weeks?
coconut water, and the supplements.
Okay.
Yes, and I did that, and it was actually like something that I never would recommend something unless I've done it and unless I know people that have a proof of concept. And so I met a lot of women who she brought to the show, actually, who had these discussions and conversations.
Had miracle babies.
Miracle babies.
Eliminated
there were people
fibroids.
who literally were going through, pads, tampons, like nonstop, couldn't go to work, couldn't go on dates because it was disrupting their life so much, and then they did this. And so if there's a way I can elevate that conversation and help people, then that's always my mission. And like I said, I did it too, and so it helped me a lot.
Can I ask you, this is a very important question. How can men, brothers, help support this mission?
So I love that question. So one of the key things that you even found with the people, the testimonies who we brought to the show, is that they get in the journey with you, right? So whether it was starting off with the Detox Challenge, right? They were like, you know what? In fact, we're about to do a challenge now. We're starting next week. And they did it with their women. I was on with a gentleman last night. He was like, listen, I want to do this with my wife. I want her to be supported because as you're getting healthy, you're letting her know she's not alone. You're getting educated, right? And the best thing you can do is actually support her by being with her in the journey.
And
that has changed everything.
The water fast and actually couldn't have, like, we're struggling with fertility issues, and they both did it together and had a baby.
Wow.
That's spectacular. Well, thank you, ladies, both for coming. Coach Gessie as well as Angela. Angela, you're going to hang around with us for Celebrity Dash, right?
I'll be here.
We got a lot to get into.
I'm balanced, yes.
Thank you. That's where you all can go, and we just showed you, learn more about the Detox Now Challenge and more. Thank you.
Do you want to join us for the challenge?
I will. Absolutely. I'm
Wait,
here
you
for it.
didn't ask me?
You said 2 weeks.
I can support you.
You can support me.
I can support you. All right, cool. I'll do that.
Myself as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Just don't eat cookies that week.